La cucaracha.
Колибри, стой, пожалуйста. Надо какой-то цветочек ей вкусный дать.
Watching you was such a thrill. All that I could do was laugh. I couldn't hold it back. I couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold it back. We were running on that open shore. No saddle on his back. I never felt so free before. All that I could do was laugh. I couldn't hold it back. I couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold it back. I couldn't hold it back. I couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold it back. There I lay beneath the canopy on the gilded forest